Ripper. We all good, Derek? We're rolling? Sweet. Okay. There's been a bit of a WA theme in recent weeks. We had East Freo boy, Judd McVie on with yourself and I, Marca.
Go Sharks.
Go Sharkies. We had Jeff White on last week, of course, drafted the Freo, but we know he's a quintessential certified demon. And we're joined by a Victorian turned Western Australian, a former Premiership Eagle from BackChat, Will Schofield. How are you, mate?
Hello, gents. It's great to be with you. Look, a few things off the top here. The fact that you've cracked an absolute case of VBs is just absolutely fucking brilliant.
Yeah. A little taste of home.
Yeah, it's bloody beautiful. Look, you can never be a Victorian turned West Australian. I do want to make that clear off the top. People over here say, "Oh, you're a born again West Australian." Fuck off. I'm Victorian. I was born in Geelong. I'm a fucking Victorian. I play nicely with the West Australians over here because, it is a big part of our audience, but just I am a Victorian and always will be.
What do you think of the Pies, though?
Fuck the Pies. I hate Collingwood. I absolutely hate them.
With that being said, though, I must say, and I did live over there for a few years, but Swan Draft, not bad. Not bad. Not a bad drop.
Swanee D's about as close as you get to a Victorian beer as you can over here. It's usually on tap everywhere you go as well. It's very drinkable, the Swanee D. But I must say, it doesn't do anything out of a good shelter. Our major partners here at BackChat.
Yeah, I knew there was a plug coming because you've got
set up there.
He's got his own beer, and you're absolutely killing it in the world of BackChat. We're going to talk about that right at the end, Scully. But mate, the Eagles. Actually going all right, showing a bit. And the one thing I think that got lost on a lot of people, particularly over here in Victoria, the 2 seasons previous, they have been decimated by injuries. COVID plagued them. It's amazing what can happen when you've got a little bit of continuity.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch what happens over here. Look, I picked them to pretty much win no games this year. I didn't feel like their list had improved. Felt like they lost real direction. And for the first 3 rounds, they went 50, 60, 70-point losses over here and really had no distinguishable brand of footy. Like, you can see the way Melbourne plays, really good contested side and has a strong midfield that you get on top in the middle and stoppages and clearance and start dominating teams. West Coast had nothing. They weren't defending. They weren't competing. And I thought, well, here we go again. But yeah, they found a little bit. They played against Sydney gather round in some God knows where oval. They competed, and then they came back and they won against Richmond, which we know probably isn't the greatest victory. But the win against Freo here at Optus Stadium in the Derby, that's a big win over here. Like, not only the 4 points, but you got bragging rights for half the season. It's a 2-team town. So, look, yeah, they've been competitive, which I didn't think they were going to be, and I think as fans of West Coast, like, that's all they want, to be competitive. So, Melbourne coming over here, I think, like, clear favourites, but, there's certainly a competitive element which I didn't think was there probably 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think if this game was played last year, you don't even almost watch it. You just have a week off and count on the 4 points happening. I have a Freo mate, and after that derby over there, he said that was the worst loss I reckon we've ever copped. So, like, we probably don't appreciate the derby as much over here as over there. It's insane, and probably the same with the showdown. But yeah, that's a massive win. And I mean, we can just lead into the influence of one player, obviously, Harley Reid, and what that has done to a supporter base who are licking their wounds a bit, probably for the first time since entering the competition in '87, because they've been so competitive and just so successful, probably the best or the most successful in the modern era. But yeah, how important has the influx of, obviously, the young talent in Harley been, and the healthy list of the elder statesmen, besides Yo, obviously?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, Harley Reid. Look, I've been lucky enough to meet him a few times. Just a really, really good kid. He's a country kid. He's a Victorian, which is very important. And for what it's worth, off the top, I think he'll stay over here. I think he'll really learn to love it over here. Like, there's a lot of guys over here. So myself, Luke Shuey, Andrew Gaff, to name a few, Shannon Hearn, that come over here as interstate guys, and it's a really great place to live. Like, It's hot. It's got good lifestyle. It's not as busy as Melbourne and Sydney, and there's a lot of great things. But what he's able to do on the field is impact games as an 18-year-old, and there's not many that can do it, right? Like the Derby, had over 20, kicked 3 goals, and basically won the game. Like to do that as a young kid means that he's going to be on the back page of the paper every week, and so there's certainly been some. Me being one of them, like I think the West Australian over here, the only newspaper in town, has embarrassed themselves a little bit with the coverage of Harley. Like, yes, people care about him, but it's been over the top over here, boys. Like he's on the back page every second day. He's like today he was boss baby. They'd like superimposed his face on a baby, and like the cartoon boss baby. And it's like, a big chance to show who's bossed against Melbourne. Like come out. Like, it's just stupid shit over here. So. Like that's the sort of caliber we're dealing with over here in the West. But yeah, like it's been big. And then the senior players, to your second point, is Elliot Yeo has been massive. He's back to his best, but he's been out, so I don't even know if he'll play this week. I haven't seen teams; they're not released yet. I was recording right now, but if he's not back, West Coast are effectively missing their 4 best players at the moment: Oscar Allen, Elliot Yeo, Jeremy McGovern, and who am I missing? Can't remember. But they've got some consistency back in their senior players, and that's driving the competitive element at least.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm going to be a bit like the West Australian here and just go back to Harley Reid.
Just boss baby.
Yeah, just with the boss baby and your conversations you've had with him. What sort of person is he like? Like, do you feel like he obviously handles the pressure really well? Like, is he a calm person, or does he come across as that real footy head, or he sort of switches off?
Nah, he's a proper country kid who loves playing footy and loves winning, and he has an edge to him that, like, when you meet him, I've been lucky enough to play with some great players, right? Like Chris Judd, Ben Cousins, Daniel Kerr, Dean Cox, Embley, all these guys, Matt Pritter, Sam Mitchell.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Brown I've got a good list. I've got a good list of teammates. Don't worry, I was nowhere near any of them, but I did play with them, and all of them to a T have this. People who don't know them would call it arrogance, and to the very best, like I'm talking Judd, Mitchell, Cousins, Kerr. People definitely think it's arrogance, but it's not. It's certainly not arrogance. They just know they're better than you. Like they literally, it's the ultimate confidence where they walk into a room, and whether they're playing footy against you or they're doing a Sudoku, they know they're going to beat you. And whether it's by, getting the numbers right, or it's like wrestling the pen off you and scrunching it up and throwing it in the bin and saying, bad luck, I'll win anyway. Like they're going to win. And I think Harley has that. Like he just has this aura about him that you meet him and he's like, hey, how you going? I'm better than you. Nice to meet you. Like, I'm really humble, but I'm also better than you. And, like, the greats have that. Like, Max Gorn would have that. Clayton Oliver would have that. Christian Petrarca has that. I've met Christian a few times, and, what a ripping bloke he is. Like, he's one of the great opposition players I've come across off the field. Just, like, such a polite and humble guy, and like this one particular story, if I can just digress a little bit.
Sure.
It was in Bali. We just won the flag. I was there with Chris Marston, Jeremy McGovern, and we were there with our families, a couple of kids each. And we ended up in this restaurant, and Christian was there with a few of the Melbourne boys. And I would say most players would sort of like give you the bit of the flick up with the eyes or the nose up. Like, how you going, boys? Not coming. He came over, middle of dinner, like said hello to the girls first, and it was just so polite. Like, hi girls, I'm so sorry to interrupt your dinner. I know you're trying to, get away with some family times. I just wanted to say, like, congratulations and a lot of respect for you guys and all this stuff that, like, 99% of the players would never do. And he came out of his way, but was just so respectful about it. Like, I got a lot of respect from that, but also by the way he plays. But I guarantee, with that story aside, he has it. Like, you can see he has it. He gets, he's like, oh, you're going to, like last week, no worries, you're going to tag me in the midfield? How about I go forward and kick 5 goals? How's that sound? Because I'm better than you. Like, he just gets it, right? So that's what they all have, the greats.
That was super impressive to watch. And yeah, we've spoken at length about the character of Christian Petrarca on this show. I can say categorically that if I saw you after that grand final in 2018, I probably would have thrown my rendang at you and everyone else because of the way that we lost that prelim final, which we all flew over for to watch.
My fault.
Well,
It's your fault. It's not our fault.
No. Do you know we actually blame it on Lewis for his.
We blame it on his handball.
Yeah.
The fucking errant handball.
Yeah, was that talking about
Yes.
post match?
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny Lewis, it was like he was trying to get the handball up the chimney, wasn't he? Straight up the football. He shit himself. For someone who's bloody won 4 premierships.
I know.
He was a big shitty hole out there. Don't worry, I told him.
He was no good.
Wasn't that
night.
just awful? So we had the most beautiful experience pre-game, even the night before. There were about 30, 40 Melbourne supporters that had come over from Melbourne. We're in the pub next to the ground. Don't know what it's called again, but
it
was beautiful. It was
the Campfield. Yeah,
It was such an amazing experience until we got to halftime.
Well,
And-
to be fair, also we
fucking hell.
hadn't played finals since Diggity 6. You know what I mean? It was
True.
It was a big build up.
We're
for us.
overachieving.
Oh,
Yeah, well, we know that.
We were happy to be there.
And
Happy
then
to be there.
also, like, we had the smashing by West Coast, but then they did us a huge favour
Huge.
the week after, and that Dom Sheed goal to beat the Pies is probably one of the greatest football moments I've ever seen.
Where were you, Scully, when he kicked it?
Wow, where was I? I was probably setting up the defence because there was no way he was kicking that goal. He's never kicked one like that before, and he's never kicked one after. Have you ever seen Dom Sheed kick one from the boundary? No, you haven't. Just in that moment. So I would have been full back telling everyone to set the fuck up, get on their man.
It kind of happens that way. I think 2 other examples. Last year, side bottom kicking one from beyond the 50, which is something he just doesn't do.
Yep.
Another one is the drawn grand final when Lenny Hayes kicks one about 55, which he could barely kick 45. It's something about a
It's
granny.
pretty clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very clutch. Scully, what did you think of the Collingwood fan getting the ban when he hugged, I think it was Harvey Johnston? I don't know who that is, to be
Weird
honest with
hug.
you. But
Yeah.
did you think that was harsh?
Harvey was in his second game of footy, and
There you go.
both of them sub. So you probably fair enough. You don't know who he is, although he's a very good young man. Look, boys. I'm very much pay your money, do what you like sort of guy. Used to be at fullback, just copping abuse every week, both for my looks, my play, everything, everything. And I used to think that was fine. Cop it on social media, I still do. I personally think that's a part of it. I don't like the poor me attitude a lot of people try to roll out. You get paid good money to be able to do all those sorts of things, and it's good and bad. You get the good with fans, you get the bad. I thought that particular interaction, we could have just ended that as I turn the corner. Sorry. I thought we could have just ended that by saying, clearly there was no malice. Clearly there was smiles on everyone's faces. Can we just slap on the wrist and move on? Like, why do we need to ban someone from 12 months to come to the game? I didn't like it at all, to be honest.
Neither. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous.
To be fair, it was head-high contact. So.
They can't read the room, though, the AFL, most of the time. That's my issue with it, Adzy.
I feel like 12 months is very harsh, but at the same time, I also understand that you can't just touch a player.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
he's
think.
just
Like,
giving him a little scruff on the head.
Like, I agree. It shouldn't be that banned, but there should be some sort of penalty. Otherwise, I don't know. I saw someone saying this week, how are they going to fine everyone after Buddy kicked his 1,000th goal and everyone ran on the ground? So,
Yeah.
Well, what about
Yeah,
when
that was brutal.
James Hurd kicked that goal against West Coast and
Hugged
hugged
that
that
bloke.
bloke?
Yeah.
Does James Hurd get
But
West
the-
Coast?
People
he didn't
are-
consent.
True, he didn't consent. People are just so out of touch now. Like, it's ridiculous. I want to move on, actually, Scully, to the comments at Hamish Brayshaw, who's on BackChat, and he's an absolute ripper, and I enjoy how he goes about it behind a microphone. But his comments about how the AFL effectively squibbed the whole Maynard decision, knocking out, of course, his brother Angus Brayshaw. Gus, who's a massive favourite of all of ours, as you can expect, had to retire from footy due to all those concussion knocks that he had over the journey. I think he summed it up beautifully. But where are we at now? Like, I'm really disappointed. I spoke to Marca off air about this, that I still genuinely believe that the AFL will have blood on their hands forever just from that very decision itself. It's so fucking disappointing. The King's birthday clash is going to be ridiculous. The tension, the potential animosity in the stadium between us and Collingwood supporters. But where do you stand with it now? Just simply because people start referring back to incidents as, the Maynard rule says X and we need to apply it here. Like, for me, retrospectively, thinking about that now, like, that is complete and utter hogwash that we're benchmarking decisions against the Maynard rule. Like, it should have never been implemented and expunging that decision in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, Hammer's letter, if listen carefully, he was able to sort of take the emotion out of it, the fact that his brother was involved in that, and say, look, that's fine. If that's the decision you're going to make, you need to show consistency. So what I think, right, if you're asking what I think, is the AFL's been incredibly inconsistent. They're now motivated by getting themselves out of legal issues, right? So they're now money driven, which they may always be, but they now got severe issues with players suing the AFL and the league. So they need to be looking at what they're doing. But the inconsistencies they've shown, and whether it's the Maynard incident or anything else, if you're a good bloke, you get off. If the outcome is bad, then you get in 3 weeks. Whereas a worse action, like, I don't know, Jesse Hogan swinging in the goal square, he gets off completely. If he's 1 centimetre and he breaks the bloke's jaw, then he gets 8 weeks. I honestly think if we have a serious look at it and we rule on action over outcome, we'd get increased consistency. Players would know what's going on. Fans would know what's going on. We would protect the head, because any action that doesn't protect the head would get suspended. And depending on what the action is and the severity, they would get weeks. But at the moment, we're outcome based. And so you could go into a contest with no malice, no volition, and someone gets knocked out or a broken jaw and you get 6 weeks. You could go in with complete malice, just miss someone's head, but it's a disgraceful action, and you get off with 0. And that's becoming a big issue, and that's across the comp. And I know that, the Melbourne stuff is, Melbourne Collingwood is relevant, but I just think they've been so inconsistent across the board, and it's created a lot of issues for everyone.
Yeah, I'll just have a quick one just around Maynard. Do you think also, when it comes to finals and suspensions, that if that was done, his action was done mid-season, maybe he would have copped some weeks? Like, I know the AFL probably sees him as a big player and they want him in the big dance.
1,000%. If that happens in week 14, he's getting 1 week minimum. And you can't argue that wouldn't have been the case. I know they'd like to, but the fact of the matter is they don't want a big blow up over that. They want to protect themselves there, and the inconsistencies leading into that thing, results that. But if that happens during the season, then that's a 1 week minimum. But we also just to maintain some, not integrity, but to look at it holistically, not just that one incident. The AFL is just continually putting themselves in a hole by not being consistent. That's my major point. Is it's Maynard or not. You need to be consistent, and then no one's got anything to complain about. If we look at incidents and we know what's going to happen, then we know every time. But right now, you couldn't tell me what's going to happen at the tribunal.
Yeah. Oh, mate. And look, deaths, taxes, umpiring decisions. I feel like the last one has just been emphasised this year more than any other year. I listen to a fair bit of talk back at the moment because I drive to work, and just it's all it is umpiring. I feel like just
the review.
It's just shut the fuck up, man. I feel like people are more confused than ever, and probably the umpires as well.
It's got to be, if not the hardest, one of the hardest sports
100%
to umpire in the world.
I'm not throwing any shade on umpires and themselves, and I think this is just, going back to our point about being consistent.
Yeah.
Being consistent with ruling and being consistent with tribunal. It should be something it should be a canvas that follows and covers everything, and you should know going into something. Oh, yeah. That's 2 weeks. Well, that's 3 weeks. That's holding the ball.
I think the point about action compared to outcome, when you look at this year, Jesse Hogan literally smacks someone in the face. Yeah, and then Peter Wright, just because he's 7 foot, he does a football action and gets 4 weeks. how does that work out? Like Jesse Hogan's clearly tried to punch someone, and I think he ended up getting a week or something. So
Is it too far gone, Scully, or do you think they can recalibrate and do what Matt's saying?
I don't know. I think you'd have to have a real good look at it, everything that's going on, because they're not even using precedent at the moment either. They're trying to do it case by case. I think you've got to be able to use precedent, don't you? Like, you got to be able to look at cases that are similar, but they're not doing that. So, I don't know if it's too far gone. I wouldn't say that, but it's just lacking clarity. And if you lack clarity as a player, for these sling tackles, if you're lacking clarity as a player to go into a contest, either tackle or attack the ball, it's a pretty dangerous position to be in. It's more dangerous than, the actual actions themselves. If you go into a contest not really knowing if you can do something or not, I reckon that's a pretty bad way for the game to be in.
Imagine, sorry to cut you off.
No,
but,
it's fine.
That tackle that Rue laid on in the Carlton game that got deemed, a dump tackle. Imagine if Rue had have kind of done some limp attempt with his one arm out and kind of didn't really grab the opposition player. We would all be sitting here being like, that was piss weak.
Yeah.
That is just not good enough from Rue. But
It's mental that we're, you said it before, Marca, like you're listening to it on Talkback Radio. And here we are. We're talking about it again because it's the only thing that we can really talk about at the moment because it's just dominating the headlines. And
we could be talking about.
It's every single week. Well, what we wanted to ask you, Scully, and I know you've got to go in a second, is the D's.
I give me a bit more time.
Okay.
More time. All right, we got. I pulled up. I'm just in case I was driving. I'm not driving. I don't know. Can't remember. I am where I need to be now. So we got a bit of time.
You just leave whenever you need to leave.
Are you in Coburn, just checking out the Freo players? Are you?
No, I'm actually at Aquinas College. Do a bit of coaching down here. There's a couple of good players down here. Chad Warner's brother plays down here. He's a good player.
Is he academy again? Was Chad? He wasn't academy, was he?
I don't know. I'm just we don't like the Swans.
Anyway,
so anyway.
let's talk about Melbourne.
No, we want to talk. We want to ask you about the D's. So we like to do our seedings. And we like to get an understanding of where we think we sit in the pecking order as we go on throughout the season. Where do you think we're at? Are we a genuine contender? Are we right in the mix for you?
Yeah, I think you are. I mean, the issue not has always been, but like a question mark if you looked at the three lines at Melbourne is your forward line, right? It has to be. Like your back line is outstanding, I think. Like May and Lever, best combo, like close to, if not the best combo of key defenders in the comp. Probably put them alongside for mine. Sam Taylor, Buckley at GWS, maybe McGovern and Barras at West Coast. And I know, like, holistically, there's a bit more going on, but backline elite, midfield elite, like Gawn, Oliver, Petrarca, Viney, like, elite areas there. And you got some young guys coming through too. The forward line is a big question mark for mine. Like, can it kick enough goals to win games, but win finals? Like when you need to win a final, can it stand up? And I know you've been able to do it, in 21 clearly, but of late that's been the issue.
Yeah,
so
3 years.
I think top four side, yes. Like I'd have you in front of Geelong.
Can I ask you just on our forward line? I think personally there's like Bailey Fritsch is quite underrated in the comp, but I understand he's not the big bustling full forward, like he's not a Tom Hawkins or something like that. Do you think that, we still have the weapons to win a premiership if someone like a Christian Petrarca does, spend time forward and plays a bit of that dusty sort of role that he did through their premierships?
Yeah, like that's the wild card you've got, hey? Like Petrarca, for mine, like just if I was playing still, he's the last person in the world I want coming down to the forward line. Like happily take the second, third tall, lads coming down. Ben Brown, bring him back in, no worries. But Christian Petrarca, like, I mean, he's just so dangerous. So maybe that's the move you're going to make. Like, hopefully with Clary coming into a bit of form now, he can start holding up the end of the bargain in the guts with Jack Viney and co. Blood a few more people in there, a few younger players, and maybe you play Petrarca as a goal kicking forward. And if you can do that, maybe that forward line, alongside Fritsch, and then maybe a Ben Brown and a Van Rooyen, that starts to look more dangerous, because that sounds more dangerous, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think Nirvana for me is Shane McAdam, who's debuting this week.
Good player.
Good player. He comes in, he does his thing, and he stays fit, which has always been the question mark on him. And then the other thing, Marca, is there's a guy who is listed as 5 weeks away, and he was so important to us in the back half of last year, and he went down in the last round against Sydney, and his name is Jake Melksham. It's a big ask for a player to get back into that type of form after coming off an ACL, but could he be a chance?
I just, historically, especially someone from that kind of age bracket, or just anyone who has come off a ACL, it's rare that they come back in and do the same or
dominate from the get-go,
playing at the same level as they were when they got injured. But I see Melksham being as some kind of like impact sub.
Super sub.
Yeah.
He takes over Joel's.
But
Joel, because we lost Joel.
You know, I think we have to be more of a dynamic forward line because we don't have any of those big gorilla forwards that we can rely on like a Mackay or Kerno, you know. Like we have to play around with the magnets, and I feel like we have been playing around with magnets for 3 years since that flag almost and trying to figure out what that perfect setup is like. But I feel like McAdam, Fritsch, and if you throw a Trac in there, it sounds dangerous. And obviously, Cozzy Pickett like coming in and out of there as well.
Cozzy.
You know, you might not need a big gorilla in finals like that because historically in finals and in big finals, you rarely see a key forward dominate. Their role is really important to contest and to bring the ground, you know, ball to ground and all that, but you rarely see him kick 4 or you know, you want like 2 to 3. That's awesome for a key forward in massive games and for them to be a presence. That's awesome. But you really see those kind of small forwards kicking more of the goals in finals of late that I can remember.
So a question for a former backman as well, a bit of a loaded question that I saw on the couch.
Here we go.
What's more important, having like a Melbourne, a May and Lever, the 2 best backmen, or Mackay and Kerno to win a premiership?
Please.
Don't humour him.
Right. Let me tell you, right? Forwards sell memberships, right? Everyone comes to watch the footy to watch the forwards kick goals. Mids sign sponsorships. They're the money men, right? The money, mids get paid the money. Backs win premierships. That's what happens. With no backline, you don't win a flag. The most important players on the ground in a grand final are your backmen. Anyone can kick goals. Kick it through the big sticks. Not that hard.
Then
Honestly,
why are you questioning our forward line then?
Because you never asked what I had you ranked. I was just assessing your shot.
Where have you got us ranked?
Yeah, correct. So just bring it back to the first question. So I've got you in front of Geelong. I don't have you in front of Sydney. I saw them live last week. So I will reserve my full judgment until this weekend. I'll be working the game for Fox Footy. So very much get a good look at you boys in person. Sydney number 1, clearly, like for mine. Yeah. I would have you in the same band as GWS, but maybe slightly ahead on their form at the moment. I'd have you in front of Essendon. So what are they sitting in the ladder? Third.
They're shit.
Yeah, and they're not shit out.
They're not shit.
I'd have you.
No, you just hate them.
I fucking hate them so much.
They're not
I'd
shit.
have you, GWS, Collingwood, Port, but they've been very consistent. I'd have you 3 straight under Sydney. Yep.
What about the Lions? The Lions up there still for you?
No.
Bye-bye.
Come on.
Bye-bye, Lion.
Come on.
I mean,
they're in big trouble.
Yeah.
The Lions.
Are they dead? Are they dead already? Done.
Well, I think they've got a really soft draw the next 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
They can win almost all of those. They could be all right, but other than that, they're in a bit of trouble.
Damage is almost done. I mean, copping those injuries, like it only gets longer this season. With you need all your
was it then
cattle.
2 knees in a game?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey boys, can I ask you boys a question?
Yes.
Are West Coast and Melbourne fans like friends? Like, do we have like an irrelevant rivalry that doesn't really exist that we can be friends? Like, I feel like. And I should also clarify with that question, I'm not a West Coast fan in case you thought I was.
Who do you go for, just quickly?
Well, I was a Geelong fan growing up till I was 17 and I was drafted to West Coast. I was a big Geelong nuffy, right? Used to put, the blue and white streamers in the house, drive around with flags, like complete nuffy.
Yeah.
They got drafted to West Coast. You're not a fan of the club you get drafted to. Like, they are my employee. I am fighting every week to get a gig, I'm the most dropped in player in West Coast history. Like, that's a fact. So do I
Still got a
do
flag?
Oh, mate, you got a medal. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. And I played 200, so I was the most dropped, but I was the most reselected. So I can go both ways. I actually am a Giants fan.
Whoa.
Don't ask why, but I'm a Giant. Well, I had to pick someone, right? I don't go for West Coast. I don't go for Geelong. Giants seem to be a team that no one really cares if you go for them. So I feel like I'm a Giants fan.
Okay.
Can West
Tassie,
Coast fans
potentially.
and Melbourne fans be friends? Can we be friends?
So we've said this consistently on the podcast ever since the 2018 prelim.
We got treated pretty poorly.
We got treated with the utmost disrespect that any supporter could ever get treated with at the ground. We were getting absolutely spanked at the time, obviously torched,
Yes.
in fact. And our experience after the game was so horrific that we all made a pact that whenever the AFL finally fixture us, the bastards, to play West Coast at the MCG, we're like an elephant that never forgets. We are going to give them hell. And then I find out that very weekend is the same weekend that my wife's booked in to give birth to our second child. So I've been waiting for this fucking game for 6 years, and I'm not even going to be there. So I'm very disappointed. So it's really hard to answer that one because pre-2018 prelim, there was nothing, no animosity, no tension, no nothing. But ever since that experience, this very podcast here, oh yeah, like
Yeah,
it's real.
All I say to that, boys, is, you're making the choice to go to the birth of your second child. You could go to the MC.
Here.
Yeah, and doghouse forever.
Yeah. You've already seen
Well,
one.
Yeah, we had. I mean, where I was sitting, we had people like, the game was done, but we still had people turning to me and just going, "Yes, see ya, mate." Like, I was like, "Mate, you're up by 60 and you're playing in a granny. Just like, chill."
Bit like Collingwood. I remember last year Collingwood beating us in the final.
Yeah,
Their supporters, even after the game, out the front, like my scarf got pulled off me, thrown on the ground, and then
really,
and then leaving after the Carlton game. Like, Carlton are not great either, but they were nothing like Collingwood. Like, Collingwood, for me, my hatred for Collingwood is it's never been higher, I don't think.
Yeah,
And
especially. Sorry, you go.
Hey, boys, I'm going to go in a second, but there's no greater pleasure in life for me than jumping on X after a couple of beers and just prodding a few Collingwood fans, mate. They are just absolutely so bloody
Deluded.
easy. It is so easy. I don't know if you saw it in my work over the last 6 months, but it's just like a favourite pastime of mine. Like, throw a couple of little embers into the fire, see what happens, and it just blows up every time. It's bloody brilliant.
Yeah, you're very good at it. I have noticed. Just before you do go, you've got to give BackChat a really quick plug. I've enjoyed it ever since its inception. Big props to you because I know how much hustle and work it would be to grow it to the point that you've got it to. But it's absolutely amazing. And it's not just footy, it's cricket, it's four-wheel driving. There's Fat Chat on there. It's about like physical health and lifestyle and all those choices you make. I loved your interview with Adam Gilchrist. My favourite ever episode is the one with Sean McManus. It is fucking amazing. It is mental. That guy is crazy. He's a screw loose, but in a good way. So just give it a nice pump up before we go.
I'll give you my 1 minute elevator speech. So we've started a podcast network called BackChat Studios, and BackChat, the podcast, is a big part of that. We've been going live on YouTube this year, so 4:30 p.m. Western, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Mondays and Fridays, and then it's a podcast after, and then we do a guest a week as well. So been really fortunate with some of the guests we've had on, like you mentioned Adam Gilchrist, but yeah, not only footy space, but yeah, we've had Justin Langer and we had Usman Khawaja on a couple of weeks ago. That's about to be put out. But then, yeah, a lot of footy guys. Like we had Big Maxi Gorn on. He was unreal. I'm trying to think any other Melbourne guys. I actually put a request out to Melbourne this week. We've been on our live show having current players jump on, and usually backmen. We give them a bit of love. We've got a Jack Buckley medal for the BackChat Backman of the Year.
Yep.
Jack Buckley won the first inaugural one. And so we asked for Stephen May, Jake Lever, and not overly receptive, the Melbourne media team, which I wasn't too happy about because could just go direct to the players. That's what all these media managers seem to forget. Like, I'm just going to them just to be nice. Like, I could just very easily just get Steve's or Jake's number and just say, hey, boys, you want to come on? And they come on in seconds. But anyway, I digress. Honestly, I know Melbourne fans listen to this and be like, who's this fuckwit West Coast player? I try to work my ass off. I'm in media full time. I like being really honest and giving my opinion, and I try to be as non-biased as possible. I love watching Melbourne play. I love watching any team that plays good footy and then like talking to their players and giving some insight about it. And like that's what we've really built BackChat Studios about. We've got a big YouTube following now, and it's just like we're just trying to put out really good content, and then hopefully it sits a bit differently than mainstream does. I think that's getting really old. Some of the bullshit that gets put out on mainstream, whether it's clickbaity or just old men or women putting stupid opinions out there, try to be, give some modern insight to some stuff. And I don't know, try to make a bit of money along the side, but in the end, it's probably not the right industry to be in, is it, boys, podcasting?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not.
I appreciate you having us on. We've been big fans of what you boys are doing as well.
No.
After we ran into each other on fucking Smith Street about 3 years ago.
Yep, and I just gave you the big shout out of the car. I remember well. But mate, from that point onwards, it's been extraordinary to see what you've done. But we're very much just a make ends meet operation here, just ensuring that we've got beers every podcast, and we just love talking about our club, and we've really enjoyed talking to you.
Enjoyed talking to you, fellas. If you need some shelters, we can get some over to you. Absolutely no worries about that. Just maybe try a couple of Western Australians greats. Keep doing what you're doing, because I really love the proper fan potties, like the proper potties that talk about real issues with their clubs. Like, I can only do so much with my lens. You boys actually know what's going on. I don't. So I hope that we can do some more stuff in the future with BackChat and the DeeBrief. Would be sick.
That would be amazing.
Boys, have a great one.
Mate, thanks for coming on. Much appreciated.
Get those grenades into you. They fucking look brilliant.
Oh, yeah, we will.
We will.
Thanks,
See you,
mate. Bye.
Big from Derek.
Got to listen to Derek.
Yeah, you got to listen to Derek. Scully.
Good man.
Great man.
Yeah. Love his enthusiasm.
No bullshit, no ego.
Just straight up.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good to hear. I mean, I wanted to pay him out about basically being a West Australian, but I mean, he said it himself. He's not.
He's Victorian and loves VBs.
Yeah.
And loves GWS.
Yeah, whoa.
Goes for GWS.
He didn't
Respect.
say. I really wanted to ask why. He's like, he didn't go into it, but why?
I've no idea. I actually back it because GWS don't mind him. They're so inoffensive. They've got sick players.
No, for sure. I get that, but he's won a flag and played 200 games for a club, and he's
194
and still lives there.
yeah.
194. I was going to pull him up almost. Like,
Yeah.
You played 194. Imagine you've played 194. Like, even to just play.
Oh, so he didn't
one.
get 200.
No.
So he lied.
He fucking lied.
Oh, so he's a liar.
Like Caleb Marchbank.
He's gone from a 12 to an 11.
Yeah, like Caleb. Just quickly, how are you, Adzy?
Yeah, are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
We're very much on.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Had a bit of a rush here, so
Yeah.
happy to be here though. Happy to be back.
Did everyone get that, Adzy? Do they understand the reference? No.
Well, surely. I mean,
Shame.
people who know my surname,
Yes.
Adams.
Yep.
Just put an MC in front of it.
It's the MC week.
Yes.
And that's how we get Big Adzy.
McAdams.
He's finally in.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And we spoke to Scully, obviously, about our forward dilemma. We speak about it every week and every
For the last
day.
3 years.
It is a bit. It's sort of like a bit like the umpires for me at the moment. Internally for like Melbourne supporters, like and even externally like other clubs and media and stuff. Like I get it. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
we're
It's an obvious thing to talk about with us, but
we still perform pretty well.
yeah, no, it's not like we can recruit anyone at the moment. It's not like we can bring anyone in at the moment. We have what we have, and I think that especially with Mick Adam, who we haven't seen play for the D's, but I saw enough of the Crows to know that he's going to be a really important recruit for us, and just offers.
Go with it.
Yeah.
Let's go with it.
Office works us. No. He offers something that I feel like other opposition teams don't really have in terms of dynamics with that mix-up of Fritsch, Pickett, him, Chandler. Like there's a lot of avenues to goal that we do have, that also the pressure that comes with that. Like and if you throw a Trac down there, and we know what Rue's going to do. He's not going to kick many goals. Yeah, he's not going to kick goals.
No, I'm joking.
But he's going to compete.
Yeah.
He's going to compete.
Fuck, I missed him.
Who else is there? And then Petty. Well, shit, Petty.
Yeah, but I think Petty builds into the season.
So you bloody hope so.
Yeah, of course. But
you would bloody hope so.
True.
But he had that big game against Geelong, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But let's.
Do you have faith in him, Petty?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think the game that...
Not Rue, though.
No, I do. I do have faith in Rue, but I think this rest...
But at least with Rue, you know what you get with Rue.
Yeah.
Which is nothing.
No,
but we know he's he positions himself pretty well. He competes. But
offers...
This is like the same as saying, like, he means well.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
No, this is too
No.
much.
No.
We're going...
No, have I been harsh on Rue?
No, you love him.
I don't love him.
It's just Mick Adzy's back and we're getting silly.
I just think that we could... So Rue, I think Rue... He's still young, like forward, and he's kicked a lot of goals for his age as well. But I just think at the moment it's probably a good time for him. I know he had concussion. It's probably a good time to have a week off and just regroup. I'm sure he'll come back and kick goals. But just going back on our forward line, I just feel like it's a little bit harsh sometimes. Like we talk about McAdam coming in. We've got Petrarca. I know he's a midfielder, but he can go forward, like play that Dusty Martin type role.
Well, we saw what he did last year.
Bailey Fritsch is very underrated in the AFL. Like I know he's not the big power forward, but he never loses his feet. He's probably, if not the hardest forward to match up on in the comp.
Interesting that you said he's underrated. I'm sorry to quickly butt in, but they did this thing on SEM when they were quickly comparing two players, and then all the panelists would vote. And one of the comparisons they did, would you take Langford or would you take Fritsch? All of them said Langford.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, like
Langford's a gun. Like, don't get me
Langford
wrong,
is a
he's
gun.
a really
And he
good
could kick
player.
a bag
Like, I
this
think he's.
How many panelists? 4?
There was 3 of them.
3 of them. And who was it?
Andy Marr, Sam Edmund.
Who are you?
I'm
Sam Edmund.
Regardless, though, I feel like that just ties back to the
Who
fact
was the
that
other one?
Fritsch is.
Do you remember?
Because Gazy's usually with them.
Oh, okay. If that's the trifecta, none of those blokes know shit about football.
No. But like, let's talk about that. The point I'm getting to is that he's underrated, and that equates to
it shows that people
a general
think the same
public,
thing. Yeah.
which you put them
Which is
into.
amazing from someone that kicked 6 goals in a grand final.
Thank
or a
you.
premiership.
So hang on.
Yeah, I'd love to get the goals up between he and Langford and how many.
Thank you.
Like-
Because they're talking about the flavour of the month.
Yeah, but also like
But Fritsch is like.
Yeah, Langford's the flavour.
We don't need to discuss.
I know,
what
but it's
Fritsch
the
does.
flavour of the month thing that the media love to do.
And I don't want to discredit Langford because I think he's a gun.
Oh, he's a good player, but all of a sudden,
he's not better than Fritsch. There's no fucking way he's better than Fritsch.
Essendon have had their little run. They're having their little moment in the sun over the past month, and then suddenly everyone's pissing in their pocket, making stupid comparisons like that. Fritsch has consistently delivered in the past
every year.
3-4 years.
And
we know.
if you look at the goal scoring tally at the moment, and I'm definitely not saying he's better than this person, but Jeremy Cameron gets talked in the media a lot, rightly so, because he's a superstar, if not top 3 player in the comp type thing when he's on.
Sure.
But Fritsch at the moment has kicked more goals than him, and he never gets talked about. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I don't mind it, to be honest. Like, goes under the radar. But I feel like the chat around Melbourne's forward line, it isn't as bad as what we think it is. Then we've got a Cozzy Pickett, who I think has the most pressure acts within the forward 50, can do crazy things himself. On a good day, can kick a bag of goals. And then McAdam comes in. I think if I'm an opposition coach and I look at our forward line, it's like, it's hard to match up on. And then you don't know, you have the like anxiety if you're a backman. Imagine seeing Christian Petracca walk down. Like, oh, he's getting, oh, cool, Petracca's coming down.
You've already got these like really tricky matchups, and then
Yeah.
Christian walks down, you're like, oh shit.
The tricky matchup as well that will get swept under the carpet is Neil Bullen. Because Neil Bullen is so annoying and sacrificial, and he pushes so high up the ground. He does all these defensive things. And a lot of defenders don't know whether to go with him or not. And he creates space for other forwards. And I've seen footage that Joey Montagna showed on First Crack, and it was amazing to see. He plays a sacrificial role for Petracca, even when Petracca's playing as a midfielder, where Petracca basically just assumes the position of a high half forward, and Neil Bullen pushes up and allows him to have that space. So that's another thing that you've got to think about if you're an opposition coach is, fucking hell, like, underestimate him at your peril. He'll do some things, some really quirky, like, things that are almost a little bit fly under the radar, invisible, but then it'll accentuate the qualities of a Petracca, because then suddenly he'll get out the back and sit inside the forward half. You cannot, this is a thing someone said at work today, you cannot match up on Petracca. He's unplayable. He's literally unplayable in that forward half. And
we saw that last year when
this
he
is the only
had to
question
play
I had
forward.
tonight. The only question I had tonight, everyone's been speaking about it, is what percentage do you roll with Petracca?
Well, I think that comes down to the output.
Are you talking about mid to forward?
Yep.
I think,
What is it?
I think that this. So let's
say
say
50-50 for this
let's
week.
let's say in a perfect world that Salem comes back. All right, I feel like Salem goes into the midfield because we're settled in defence. That's not to say that Salem can't play defence. We know that he can and has and done it very well. But who's to say that, and we spoke to this bloke on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, who's to say that Judd McVie can't come into the midfield as well for some minutes? We're all right in the midfield. We're going all right in the midfield. But the other thing is, and Scully made a point of this, is we need Oliver to kind of like get back to OG Oliver form, which I don't doubt that he will.
He's shown glimpses.
For sure.
Well, he's had a couple of games where he's, I think, when was it? A couple of weeks ago.
The last quarter against
he had
Geelong.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have no doubt that he will. And when that happens, and look, they've been, oppositions have been tagging Petracca so hard.
Yeah.
And it was still happening, and it wasn't until Goodwin goes, okay, I need to try and get some more out of him, so we'll put him forward. So that has to tell him that, okay, put him forward, then what are you going to do, opposition? How are you going to curtail his influence? And as you said, there's not much that can really go with him or stop him. But it's just having confidence in the other people in the guts to kind of like cover Petracca when he's not there, which I have complete faith in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like speaking to Nuggets, I think last week we're saying Clayton Oliver really is, he's pretty much doing his preseason in the season. Like he didn't really have one. So it could actually work well for us. If we get ourselves in a good position, he could start peaking at the sort of pointy end of the year.
It seems like him and Petty kind of fall into that category because Petty obviously was coming off a pretty serious injury, with a fractured leg. He
had almost had the Jack Viney.
It was the like hotspot
injury.
Liz Frank thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, a shocking injury.
Yeah.
So
which has ended careers.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I've been harsh on Petty, and because
he did show what he can do in that Geelong game, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think he had
but
9 big marks.
last week he was last Thursday, whenever it was. Last week, yeah.
It just need consistency.
Yeah.
I think that's 5-day break for someone like him.
Yeah.
If
He's
there's
clearly
anyone
got it, that's the thing. Like, and same as like I know mostly me was having a bit of a go
Also,
at JDR, but
he was
he
playing.
clearly has it. Both of them have it.
He was playing on probably the informed key defender in the comp as well. Wiederin's a psycho.
Yeah, he is. Do you say he just got offered apparently, or he's getting offered something ridiculous, like a
10?
10-year contract from the Saints at 1.5 mil a year? For someone that got scammed, I'd be taking it.
Yeah, but
He's
it's
not
St Kilda.
He's
Yeah,
no.
but
He's
you could set up your family for
no doubt, but there's no like Carlton just
It's
I
Carlton.
think he's already come out and said he's not leaving.
Well, he's not. He just won't leave.
You play for the biggest club, arguably one of the biggest clubs. Collingwood, West Coast, Carlton, probably
Essendon
take your pick.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Why would you want to go to St Kilda?
for shitloads of cash.
Nah. There's no way.
He's just
You're
not
still going to
letting
get
it
paid
go.
handsomely at Carlton.
Yeah, what is it? Still, he'd still be on
Still be
9.
on close to $1 million, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
That's a
good
lot of money.
Yeah. That's pretty good money.
Could never imagine it. Ever. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Teams have come out.
Ooh, okay.
So
Is
it's interesting.
Fuller's in?
Yeah.
Oh,
Huge.
yes.
That's big.
I've never been more pumped.
That's a
Disco out?
Yeah. Well, that was confirmed earlier this week. He's got
Was
a
it?
calf. Yeah. He's out for 3 to 4.
Oh, say out.
Hey.
So is
He's
there
my
any
boy.
outs that you were shocked by?
Yeah, one's actually, I don't know. Hopefully we find out. If not, privacy and all that.
Can
But
we
Ed,
try and guess?
Ed Langdon's out for a personal reason.
Okay.
So
We don't need to know why then.
no, that's
Respect that.
Yep, we respect that. That's a tricky one.
He's been great.
He's been
as
great.
well.
He was great
Yeah.
last week.
He's been superb,
Yeah.
Ed. He's been amazing last 3 weeks. So ins are Shane McAdam, Salem, Tomo.
What? Hang on. Salem's back.
Yeah, but it's extended. It's not the full team yet.
Oh, he's playing.
Well, he's not going to.
He's simply playing.
If he's getting named, he's playing. I thought he was
Yeah.
ages off.
Yeah, that's Christian Salem for you,
Yeah,
baby.
that's pretty flaggy.
And then we've got
He's furious.
Tomo.
Uh,
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
extended.
Yeah, it's going-
Fullers.
yeah.
it's big.
Tom Fullerton.
So
the
he's going
people-
to be taking JBR's role.
Maybe because Colton Tholstrop and Ben Brown are the other ins, and then Disco, Roo.
Are any
Ed.
of them named on the field?
Well, let's go and have a look, shall we?
I feel like Fuller's has to.
He has to have a crack.
We need to see him.
Exactly. If you're good win, you're like, show me what you got.
We need to see him.
We know McAdzy's playing,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in.
so that's confirmed.
So
in.
then it's between
I'll s-
Brown and Fuller's.
Yep. I reckon Fuller's will play.
Yeah, same.
I hope he does. I know Brown had 2. He had 8
The other
shots.
the
on
other
goal,
thing
like-
is
2-6.
2-6.
The other
So-
thing is, who gives with Rue out? We need someone to chop out in the ruck, and I
Fuller.
don't have faith.
Ben Brown's not going to be
Exactly.
Able to
I don't, and nor would Ben Brown have faith in himself to give a chop out in the ruck. He's just not a ruckman.
yeah.
If we go by the bench, and I cop flack for this because you can change it.
Unless Tomo does some kind of ruck. Nah, say ya.
Nah.
We'll go by the bench.
Ugh.
Salo, Bowie,
Oh.
same team.
Yeah, mate.
Whoa. Tomo,
Say ya.
Sparrow, in. Fullers, maybe. Colton, probably not. Wowie stays.
Yeah, Bowie stays.
Wowie stays.
It's Fuller's and Salem.
And do you reckon...
Fuller's and Salem.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Salem coming
If
in...
Salem
and
gets
with,
if
with
Salem
Bowie-
gets Salem if Salem gets mentioned,
Yeah,
he's simply playing.
yeah, exactly. And also, him with Bowie...
Oh, Haiti hates him.
I don't hate him at all.
It actually means
Oh.
what we're talking about. Like, Trac will probably spend more time forward now.
Yep, Salem in the mid.
And then even if Trac plays 50% mid, if Salem isn't 100% fit, which is probably right, then
And
they can
Langdon's
just-
out,
and
which
Lang-
means Salem can play on a wing. He
Yeah.
can play anywhere. Put him in the ruck.
Yeah, but Billings is still in the team.
Ugh.
You've got to remember. Whoa!
No,
so
no.
Billings isn't extended.
No,
It's
he's
just like-
he's in the team.
Yeah, they're really backing him in.
They're backing him in.
They're
Yeah.
backing him in hard.
Do we back him in?
Yeah.
I don't. I'm harsh on him.
Yeah.
So he showed some really good things in the last
He doesn't
quarter,
like the MCG.
but my God, he squibbed a couple on the members' wing, and it really annoyed me.
I
But
don't know. We'll give him
he's
another
in.
chance.
we'll give him a chance just purely because we're playing the Weagles.
Who, by the way,
I'm not going to try and pronounce
No, no.
their
I
Indigenous
don't think
name.
you can take.
Can you do this for me, Marca?
What am I doing?
Because I don't want to disrespect the name change. So have a crack, please.
Well, it's Noongar country. I know that.
Yep. So what? How do you pronounce this?
And
'Cause I feel
Freo is
horrible.
Wagyulup.
Yep, that's right. And we're Nam, and I'm very proud of this, by the way. I think it's fantastic. Go for it.
Wailich Marawa.
Nice.
Well done.
We don't know if it's right, but
It sounded right.
we're going to back it in.
But
Yeah.
that's the immediate area around Perth. But the country is Noongar, which is southwest of WA, which covers a lot of landmass, the Noongar.
Yep.
But yeah, and Naarm. Can't Naarm.
Can't.
We've had a bad record as Naarm,
We have. However,
but I'm feeling it.
I'm feeling it too.
Have we won as Naarm?
Yeah, we
Once.
have. Against
Once.
North.
Against North. But we've got a pretty good run as Naarm
We do.
coming up. So we got West Coast into, who do we have next
St
week?
Kilda.
Saints, which
You'd probably
you
bang.
hopefully
Yeah, but I'm
win that.
scared about that because they've been underperforming.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I mean? And
True.
we've
But
got
have
a
we
good
been-
run on
have
them,
we
and
been
that also
underperforming
worries
a little
me.
bit as well.
Sorry?
I feel like we have a little bit here and there as well. Like,
Well, we're not humming.
We can get, we're not humming,
No.
but we're still top 4, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just on Naarm, third consecutive year as the Naarm Football Club.
The first to do it.
The first to do it for Sir Doug Nicholls round. And, of course, the AFLW Indigenous round later in the season will be Naarm again. I'm super proud of this. The other thing I'm super proud of, I had a conversation with a person in the coterie. We spoke about Alice and Darwin and how we've taken those games up there. When we took the games up there, let's just be real. We took them up there for cash. We don't have to take them up there anymore, and we don't have to continue to do what we do. But what we've actually done is we've entrenched ourselves in the Indigenous communities. And we've entrenched ourselves in those Indigenous communities at a really important time with everything that's happening, particularly in Alice Springs,
With everything that's happened,
forever.
yes,
So I'm
since colonisation.
Yeah, so I'm super proud of it. We've done so much good in the community. It would be very easy to just go, you know what, I can't be bothered anymore. It's a lot of travel for the players. But the work that they've done, they've built a centre up there and an oval up there in the Red Centre. I actually think it's amazing. Like, well done to Melbourne for being on the front foot. I'm proud as a supporter, and I'm proud of that initiative of being the first club to rename themselves during these rounds.
Yeah, yes, we did lose to the Giants last year, and that
Yeah.
was like one of the most
Probably
frustrating
games ever.
Yeah, insanely frustrating. It was wet there for the first. It's Alice Springs, for God's sake. It's dry season. It's crazy that it even rained, but I still think, yes, I agree with you that it's so important to champion Australia and make sure that we take the game into not just Alice Springs, but Darwin, rural parts of Victoria, even rural parts of the northern states. And I just feel like the more we play there, the more we can establish somewhat of a fortress in that if we just keep playing there, we just get to know it more and more.
Yeah, exactly.
And that we can create a little home away from home there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, some people might claim that that's a bit of bullcrap and that, you should just be able to play and win wherever. But yes, there's no crowd kind of like influence like you would get at, say, a Skilled or an Optus or an Adelaide. But I do believe that if you do know a ground, it is really beneficial. And this goes back to, I guess, my playing days. And I'm sure you can attest to this. Just little things like, all right, to kick to the fat side, leaving the back 50 from this end. You got to hit up this wing.
You know where
Yeah.
the potholes are.
You just know. You just know these little
I don't think-
intricacies that are important to a team that plays that ground more often. And I think that we can utilise this going forward.
I even think just little things like rocking up and preparation and knowing the rooms and knowing where you are and stuff like that.
It sounds like it's just a really, like all the players seem
love
to
it.
talk about it at length about how much they love it, and obviously the work that they do with the communities up there. I'm all for it going forward, and I'm going to try and go to it this year as well.
True.
Apparently,
Get up
it's
there.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's shame on me that I've never done it before. Like, should have gone up there by now. But hopefully in a couple of years, just got to integrate myself into kid number 2 soon, which will be fantastic. Can't wait. You can hear the enthusiasm in my voice. No, I'm
Yeah.
just joking. It's disrespectful to the next kid coming.
When is he or she due?
July 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that'll be the very day we play West Coast at the G. So
Was Harry born in 2021?
he was.
Okay. So we got another flag baby.
Oh, flag baby over.
Whoa! And do you know what's eerie? My brother was born in 86. Hawthorn won the flag. I was born in 89. Hawthorn won the flag. My brother was born in 91 by one day, 31st of December.
Hawthorn.
Hawthorn won the flag.
That's all I need to
It's
hear.
flag.
Yeah.
So there's something in it.
Can you have another baby for the next?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna cap it out at 2. No, it's very exciting. Boys, we'll need to run soon. We've got things to do. We need to get to the pub, of course, and watch. Hopefully, the Gold Coast upset the Cats. I'm all in. I've tipped Suns. I'm going for it.
I've tipped Suns too.
Yeah, and you're gonna go off to a dinner at some point soon, Marca. So let's go to predictions now. I've been looking forward to this for many weeks because, of course, Mick Adzy has been doing his own thing on Thursdays. We've brought him back into the fold tonight. We're hoping for a big prediction. I'll start and then we'll go around the room clockwise. So I think it's going to be what it normally is in these games, which is really frustrating. I've spoken to Scotty about this. We just don't smash the lowly teams. It's just not in our DNA, not in our nature.
And I think, well, I know percentage, it always is important.
Yeah.
But it seems like this year, more than ever, it could be the difference between top 4 and you know.
It could be. The only curveball that we've got is Collingwood and Essendon might
Draw.
feature. And they've got that draw.
Yeah.
So it could be weird. I think it'll be frustrating. People will be saying at halftime, fucking hell, Melbourne, what are you doing? It might even be level.
Disagree.
It might even be level. And I think it'll just be frustrating. And then we'll flick it in the third. We'll be up by about 20, 24 points at 3/4 time. And then I think we'll win by 47 points. Trac will kick another 5. And probably Bog again. And that's my predico.
That's so you choose. So we usually let's choose a lesser name that to really perform.
Yeah, we've been doing this recently.
And obviously, so Trac's your big dog.
Oh,
to
it's
perform.
pretty obvious who my lesser name is.
Mick Adzy?
No, if he plays.
Oh, Fuller's.
Fullers.
Oh,
Fullers.
Okay, well,
If he plays. And if he doesn't play, I think my lesser name is the continuation of Taj.
nice.
Because I love what he's doing. I think he's building. I think he's going to be a player for the future. I can see Taj. I can see him having a Melbourne career now. I didn't see it last year. There were those little glimpses. I reckon the last few weeks has reinforced to me that Taj Woden will be here for a long time.
Nice.
I'm feeling good about him.
Well,
Is that a good? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it.
well, I love his dad. So yeah.
You do love his dad. Was
I,
he your
I
favourite?
reckon
Yeah.
the fact that we like this ground.
Oh yeah.
We like this ground a lot,
Yeah.
and
Won a premiership on it.
I just think, that the fact that McGovern, there was someone else.
Is
that's-
Yo out? Was
Yeah.
he-
Yes.
Oh god.
It's
Okay.
confirmed.
Yeah. So McGovern, Yo.
We didn't even do their changes.
There's another. Do you want to just quickly go on while I'm talking? And
Waterman's
I will-
back.
That's fine.
It's big for them.
Stephen May.
Gaff's
Yeah.
back.
Oh, so yeah, he's
Oh,
so
okay.
done.
He's so done. Jermaine Jones,
Sorry, who?
Harry Edwards, Jai Cully.
Yeah, all right. Let's stop naming those players. So I reckon that Oliver will have a really influential game because Trac will be playing a bit more forward. And
How many of this Trac kick? I said 5. What do you say?
There's going to be a big spread.
Oh,
There's going to be a big spread. So Trac will just get his 3.
just 3.
Yeah, and so Oliver will be my bog.
Okay.
And my lesser known, I'm going to back in Chandler to really step up, and he will finish with 3 or 4. I'll go 4 because
Okay.
there's going to be a lot of goals. I honestly reckon we're going to win by 65 points.
Like it.
Huge.
Yeah. So Elliot Yo out is pretty big. Their midfield doesn't look great. I'm going to try and go as close, be honest here and try and go as close to beating you guys for the difference. Because
Okay.
I honestly think we could go close to 100 points. So I agree with you. I think there'll be a big spread. I think Fritch will kick 5. Trac will pop up for a few. I think Cozzy could potentially have a 4 or 5 in him. McAdam could kick a couple first game in. I just think this is going to be a real foot on the throat game. No, I genuinely, I'm going to try and get as close as possible. I think.
This is where you can get the prediction.
No,
from.
exactly. So I'm going to try and get it. So I'm not going to say 180 points or anything like that. I'm genuinely going to try and get it close. So I'll say like 250. No. Genuinely, I think like 95 to 100. And that's genuine honesty. I think
I'm
we could
feeling
do 100.
If we do 100, I'll be so happy.
Well, it's just, I don't know. Like,
How good's doing 100? Remember when we did 100 against Carlton?
Look, it's a big break.
When we did 100,
It was 96, and then Nuggets caught the 96 tram home.
yeah. No, it was the 109.
109.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was the 109.
it was the 109. That game was sick.
Yeah, he caught the 109 home. That's right. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Like, 'cause I feel like they've had their little purple patch. And, like,
True.
they're sort of, like, Yo is a big out for them.
Well, there was a bad loss last week, so I watched the first half, and in
Against
the second
the Dogs as well. It's
I
like,
just
yeah,
feel
but
like
the second quarter,
if we're on from the start and we're just feeding it to, like,
we love
Bailey Fritsch
Optus.
and
It's going to be
stuff,
25
and
digs.
we won a premiership there by, 77 points or something?
Heaps.
74.
74? Should know that.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it's 100.
it's 95 to 100. You've heard it here first. Put your bets on. Gamble responsibly. All right. Well, Will Schofield, you were amazing.
Yep.
Thank you. You're welcome anytime on this podcast. Anytime.
A friend for life.
Friend for life.
He
Absolutely.
was great.
And he hates Collingwood.
Yeah.
Respect.
And we hate them so much. Boys, where are you going to watch?
Probably just from home.
Yeah, I'll be at home.
Yeah, it's probably a home jobbo. Probably.
Because
a
what
home
is it,
jobbo.
6 o'clock or
So
something?
it'll be a
6:20.
really fun one from home, hopefully. Like
On a Sunday night.
pizza
Before bed.
on the couch.
Before work.
Yeah.
Just
Pizza on your belly.
50 points up at quarter time type
Garlic
sort of
bread. 1.25 of, I don't know, Mountain Dew or something.
stuff. Yeah.
That's the worst choice.
Nah, Mountain Dew
Mountain Dew's
is
pretty good.
not bad, man.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Nah.
I don't mind that call.
I get around Mountain Dew.
Whoa. Is
Very
anyone...
rarely. I don't
All
really
right,
drink soft
Put it
drink
out to the
often.
listeners. Hit us up on Instagram. Anyone listening
Or
right
a Dr.
now.
Pepper.
Oh, no. I
Okay.
can't back you up on that.
Dr. Pepper or Mountain Dew? The same thing as the Pringles. There's none here tonight. We want to know. Mountain Dew or Dr. Pepper? We'll see how many people actually
Both are
listen.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 5
Two
people.
votes.
Fanta can fuck off. Fanta's overrated.
Fanta.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So Solo. So yeah.
I like Sprite.
Oh, nah. Solo's great.
Solo is good. I'm a Sprite man, though.
Oh, you
Do
would
like
be.
Sprite.
You
I like
would
them all,
be.
really.
Hey, what don't you like? Licorice.
I don't like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I'd never drink it.
I like
Yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Creamy soda?
You guys don't have that
Coke,
refined taste like I do, but that's all right.
weed.
All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, you can get it.
All right, see you, boys.
See you, everyone. I reckon that's
Go
it.
Dees.
Go Dees. Just get it done.
60 points.
Yeah, 100.